Since the dawn of time, man has been curious. And for almost as long, the Vibes Broadcast Network has sought the truth. Investigate, discuss, explore. Okay, maybe in other episodes, but this one is just listen to the vibes.
The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And I have here Mr. Stuart Pankin. And he is an actor, a voice actor. And just talking to him before we got started, as short as it was, he seems like a really nice guy. And
absolutely, I am.
We're going to get to know him and just have a good conversation. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I was born on the East Coast, Philadelphia, about 38 years ago. No, that's a lie. And I don't know, I had a wonderful childhood, a lot of great family. Went to college, fell in love with acting because of a great teacher and director, Dave Brubaker. And wanted to pursue it. So I went to Columbia Graduate School, got through that, and just, plugged my way along in the business in New York and then later in California to now. I mean, so, it's sort of a classic route, a picaresque journey through youth to becoming an actor. Luckily, never had to wait tables, never had to lay bricks, never had to put tar on roads. I mean, I've been very fortunate, in being able to do what I like to do.
Has that kind of been your dream from the get-go, is to get into acting?
Well, even as a kid, I used to, entertain my family at dinners and stuff. And then in college, I was going to be a psychology major because I kind of liked it in high school. Signed up to be a psychology major, but the first time the call went out to audition for the first play that I was involved with at college, and I walked across that dark, scary campus to the audition, I knew that I was hooked and I wanted to be an actor.
So what was your, you consider your breakthrough?
Probably not necessarily the news, which was an HBO series. Went on for about 6 years. That did it for me. That made it's when the National Cable Association was strong, and cable shows were attracting a lot of good people. In fact, I was, to brag, nominated for 5 ACE Awards, won one once, but I lost to people like Frank Sinatra and Kenny Rogers and Billy Crystal. I mean, cable was attracting a lot of good people. Yeah. So not necessarily the news was, for me, the show that I wasn't doing a lot before that, television shows. And in the East, I did a lot of theater. That's my first love. I mean, a lot of actors, when they're doing theater, say, how can I get to California? How can I, get into the movies and television? Then when you're in movies and television, you say, how can I get back to the theater? How can I do plays? Because that's, for me, I won't speak for every actor, that digs into your heart and soul. I mean, being able to perform in front of people and getting their immediate reactions. But as far as TV, as far as a break in this town, not necessarily the news was it.
Yeah, I remember that, and then a few other things that I remember seeing you in. But I guess one of the things that I really enjoyed was when you did the voice of Earl Sinclair on Dinosaurs.
Yeah, thank you. Great show. Earl, that was the Henson Company. Michael Jacobs produced it, produced it. And it was a great job. I mean, any kind of voiceover job is great. Every actor in California, in Los Angeles, auditioned for that. And I had worked with Michael before, so he brought me in, and I was, lucky enough to get it. It was a great job. And the show was good. The writing was terrific. The puppetry was spectacular. The animatronic puppetry of the Henson people.
Yeah.
And it was good for adults. The content of the show was great for adults, and the puppets were great for the kids. So it was a family fun for the whole family. And it's on Disney Plus, and you can watch it now.
Not the mama.
Not the mama. Kevin Clash, not the mama. Who was a Henson Sesame Street actor. Terrific.
What made you, number one, want to do the voice, and number two, what was like your inspiration for the character?
Well, why I wanted the job is because I like working. When they paid you.
Gotcha.
And inspiration, mostly, there's no inspiration. You get it from the script. I mean, I believe that the best performances you get them from the script. I mean, as far as the voice, when I auditioned for Earl for Dinosaurs, it was an actor named Davy Burns who did. He's an old character actor, and he sang a song years ago in a wonderful movie called, and of course I forget it. When the world has come for parting, and the time indeed. So that was the voice in my head that I auditioned with. But you don't get I mean, you certainly don't get inspiration as an actor from other actors. That's a mistake, because it's already filtered through, and you're not giving yourself your own creativity. So you look at the script, you saw what Earl was. Sometimes he's a really tough, dinosaur. And sometimes, honey, he's not. He's talking to Fred. I mean, and that's how you get the inspiration. You get it from the words of the script.
Okay. Well, any of the other characters that you had to maybe pull an inspiration from somewhere else, like anything that you've ever done?
I don't remember in 50 plus years of acting that I've said I'm going to use this particular model. I mean, look, as a human being and as an actor, you see lots of stuff, and you don't know where stuff comes. If I'm going to be a bad guy, am I influenced by Al Capone? Am I influenced by Tony Soprano? You don't know that. You just do, and you try to be. Olivier said there's only 5 characters in every actor. There's only 5 people in every actor, and you have variations of those things. So if I'm playing a meek guy, am I affected by Don Knotts or, Bob Newhart? Maybe, but I don't say, oh, that's a Bob Newhart character. Oh, that's a Tony Soprano character. So there's no real, I've never gone to my conscious knowledge to anybody who says, well, I'm going to be like him. You just do it. You do it based on the script and whatever comes out of your imagination, and you try to make variations on those 5 characters. Voice actor.
So what do you got going on nowadays?
What are you, crazy? It's pandemic time. You stay home, you cross the street when you see people. I mean, I've been doing a bunch of podcasts, with nice guys like you. Right now, very little. During the first part of the pandemic, a friend of mine directed, and another guy wrote, James Nevius wrote, a Zoom podcast, a Zoom play, a play written for Zoom. It was a reunion, St. Mary Immaculate virtual high school reunion. And it was about a reunion, but done for Zoom. So the play was written, it was a murder mystery. Nice. And the play was written for Zoom and for the pandemic. And we did that for months. People actually very, very nicely, they signed up, they bought tickets, and we did it for, any number of weekends and rehearsed over months. It kept us going during the pandemic, but now not a lot happening. I mean, it used to be golf, not anymore. It used to be poker with my friends, not anymore. Things have stopped.
Yeah, I think it's opened up some creativity for some other folks. I mean, you have to be kind of creative to get around all this, lockdowns and all the other things going on.
Right, like on some of the social media people, they write songs, they perform poetry. You got to get it out. I'm happy to hang out with my wife and talk to guys like you.
Well, you've had a good career, so I guess you can take some time off. That's allowed.
Well, yeah, actors. I mean, theoretically, I mean, actors retire, but actors never retire. I mean, you
Yeah.
always you can act until they pull the sheet over you. When they want me, if they want to call me and do something, I'll be happy to do it. The auditions they have online auditions. I hate them and I don't do them. And when you get to be a certain age, there's not a lot of parts out there. But I'm real happy with looking back what's going on with me, and no regrets. But if there's a producer out there that wants to hire me, get in touch, pal.
Well, I guess you'd be willing to get back into plays and things like that too, huh?
Oh yeah. But again, because of the pandemic, the theaters are not operating anymore. Meetings have been canceled, events have been canceled, plays have been canceled. I'm not sure what's going on Broadway now. I know during the initial pandemic, it closed. It closed for a year. I'm not sure what's happening now. I think some of the plays in New York are opening, and that's great. The world needs, entertainment and
Yes,
and
for sure.
theater and films. I mean, it just needs it. I mean, you can make an argument, oh, it's silly, but it's not. You need, the ideas of theater and film. You need the social gatherings of people. That's significant when it comes to theater. And you don't get that sitting in your room, watching stuff, which we've been doing recently because of the pandemic. And also the Academy Awards are coming up, so they send out, they make these screeners available. So my wife and I have been watching those. But it's not the same thing as getting out and going to a theater, or even a movie. I haven't been to a movie in over 2 years.
Yeah, it's been
until things open up. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it.
well, you need to come here to Texas. We got plenty of stuff open here.
I worked in Texas. a couple of times.
Oh yeah, whereabouts?
Big Spring once.
Okay.
And wait, somebody's trying to email me. Turn this off. I don't want to talk to you. Big Spring, Texas, and Big Spring, Midland, and Dallas. I did a couple of projects in Dallas.
But do you have anything that you want to do in the near future? I mean, like plans?
I have no plans for the near future. I'm creeping slowly to death, and I'm just contented with that. No, when this thing opens up, I mean, we'll get back to seeing friends. Maybe, I mean, life will become what it was before. Then maybe a play will open up. Maybe a film will open up. We just have to wait and see. I have nothing. I'm not lucky enough to write. See, that would be great if you were a writer in these days. That would be swell.
Yeah.
But there's an awful lot of writers, and there's an awful lot of garbage out there, because there's an awful lot of writers. So just because you write something doesn't mean, that it's worth seeing or putting on. But no, I don't have any plans. Just, waiting for things to settle down, waiting for herd immunity, waiting for, this to be over, like everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Well, to be quite honest with you, I mean, we got rid of our cable. It just seems like there's not a whole lot of creativity going on. It's the same old. And then you got so many people that are just redoing old stuff. And I'm looking for something new.
Well, I mean, what we do here is watch a lot of BritBox, that kind of Amazon Prime, BritBox, Acorn TV, a lot of British stuff. We're really attracted to that. To be honest with you, maybe I'll be ostracized, but you're right about there's very little new. I can't really take a lot of new sitcoms, for instance, if they're on. I've seen it before, and my threshold of comedy is high. I need to, because I do so much of it and I've done so much of it. I need to see something new and exciting. Yeah. So we stick with procedurals, English procedurals. I don't know if anybody out there, is of a similar mind, but we really enjoy that. The writing is good and the acting is terrific. And so that's what we spend a lot of time doing. I don't watch a lot of British comedy because a lot of that,
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't relate to it.
Right.
Like they always say about Shakespeare's comedy, Shakespeare's clowns. I mean, they were great in the 1500s, but
Yeah.
nobody knows what the heck they're talking about. And
Right.
I've played a bunch of them.
Well, when they get into those little sayings that they have, I have no idea what that means.
Right. You gotta. I mean, my dad used to watch Shakespeare on television, and they used to do live productions of I forget the name, like Playhouse 90 or the Alcoa Aluminum Hour, and he used to watch him and follow him with the script, so that he could understand better what's going on. I just saw the new Macbeth, and I'm not going to comment on it, but there are words in there that they should have changed because people don't know what these. I mean, there are words that I've never heard of. And I know when I did Shakespeare in Washington, the brilliant gentleman, Robert Neff Williams, who was helping us there, I said a word to him, a phrase to him, and I said, "This just means puppet show." And he says, "Can I say puppet show?" He says, "Yeah, say it, change it." There's no greater sin than having the audience confused, just because it's Shakespeare. I mean,
Right.
if you have a strange word, I would have asked Mr. Cohen to change it to make it accessible to people. But that's my opinion, and he'll never pass me now anyway.
Have you picked up any new hobbies or anything since we've been in all this lockdown?
Well, golf was my main hobby. I'm into swimming now. I mean, that's what I do.
Okay.
You go to the gym, and there's a limited amount of people to go in there now. Right. And I've been doing research and buying and returning all these face masks, and I've come up with the one that I like. So that's my new hobby: swimming and finding face masks. So that's it. I found some great ones. Well, but that's it. Swimming and what else? That's about it. Swimming is it's a meditative, exercise. You just swim in the pool. It's you and you in the water. And I used to I'm a varsity swimmer from high school, so it comes, believe it or not, and it comes easy to me. And there's a limited amount of people that can go to the gym because they limit you. And but I've made some acquaintances there, and it's to me it's better than going out back and going into a pool and swimming. There's a social element of it. At least you're seeing other people. At least and you get to know them if you go to the gym well enough. So that satisfies a little bit of my social needs. Yeah. Not to mention the exercise and the fun of swimming. So that's it. That's about the only hobby that I'm dealing with right now.
Well, I don't know if you have Netflix, but they have a show on there called Nailed It. I don't know what that is. Okay, well, what happens is they get these people that are kind of just, I guess you say, home cooks, not really experienced, and they have somebody builds these extravagant cakes and all kinds of other treats, and all these cool decorations and all. So they give them a limited amount of time to try to recreate these elaborate pieces of art. And so you see some of the most craziest stuff when they get done. And I mean, it'll be just a big old lump of just a mess. And for some reason that inspired me to start baking. So that's kind of my hobby now. I can't eat any of it because I'm diabetic, but I make cookies and cakes and pies and all kinds of stuff now. So I guess there was some good that came out of it. My family's getting fatter, but and that's kind of what we did for Christmas. We decided we were going to do homemade stuff this year instead of buying a bunch of gifts. So I made so many cookies and cupcakes and things for people. And
I admire your restraint, not eating them.
Hey, I've already had one heart attack. I don't need another.
No, don't do that.
Do you cook?
No.
No,
my wife is from a restaurant family. Her family used to have a restaurant in New York for 90 years, over 90 years. It's a great local restaurant. So she's the cook. I'm the eater.
That was my role for the longest time.
Yeah, I understand.
So, do you have kids, grandkids?
I have a son, no grandkids. I have a son and his wife. They live about 20 minutes away, which is great.
Awesome.
We see them, as often as we can force them to come here. Luckily, we have a washer dryer, so they come up to do the laundry, and we love it. We sometimes sneak in, and when they finish their clothes, we throw sand on them, so they have to come back again.
That's one way to get them to visit, huh?
Yeah, always.
Getting away from all the negative that's going on in the world, trying to bring some positive. Do you have some encouraging words for folks out there so they can, keep motivated, keep going?
Well, why anybody would care about what I think is strange. I mean, everybody thinks that what they say is the most important thing in the world. It isn't. That's one of my philosophies. Another one of my philosophies is there's always a different way and often a better way to do anything. Just remember that.
Yeah.
And to paraphrase Plato, everybody you meet is fighting a fierce battle, so be kind. That's another, That's something to think about. That's like the golden rule kind of thing. But, what did you ask? A positive something?
Something to keep people motivated.
No, just look for the future, man. I mean, it's, know that this too shall soon pass. And we'll be, it might end up like a once a year shot, like a flu shot, and then things will be okay. But it'll pass. I mean, there's a hell of a lot better than the 1918 flu that killed 4 gazillion people. I mean, so luckily we have the science and people that are interested in keeping people healthy. So it'll pass. So just hang on. That's what any of us can do.
Yeah. Well,
get masked, get vaccinated, and stay away from people and try to not to mingle and be a super spreader, and just use your common sense.
I have to disagree with you on one thing. I think it's really important what everybody has to say, which is one of the reasons why I started this show. I like people to come on and have a voice, and they could either be an actor like you or a life coach. It could be my next door neighbor. Everybody has something in their lives that can be inspiring to other people.
No, I've heard your next door neighbor. He doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh, you met Mr. Larry then, huh?
Mr. Larry. No, I've heard what he's saying, and it's just silly.
Yeah, actually a great man. He's getting on up there, and you can tell he's kind of losing a little bit, but he's got some great war stories, and he's a Vietnam vet.
Wow.
And he's the neighborhood watch. He makes sure everybody's taken care of.
That's great. That's great. It's a great way to spend your time.
Has there just been that one person you didn't expect and that had really like interesting life or story to tell?
Well, my wife helped start a summer theater in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
While she was in college, eventually it turned into an equity company. And the man who was in charge of that, Joe Riley, I didn't know him before my wife introduced us. He became my best friend for over 37 years.
Oh, wow.
He's the funniest, smartest guy. I mean, there are 3 people in my life that could make me just fall over laughing. One is Joe. The other is John Ritter, who, I've had the pleasure of working with in North While. And the other is my wife. My wife can double me over. But Joe was a revelation and a godsend. He and his family and the people at the St. Vincent Theater in Pennsylvania. It's closed now because of COVID, but it'll open up again. And we spent many, many wonderful years there with him and with a bunch of wonderful actors. And producer Father Tom Devereaux was my friend and producer. These are the people that affected me a lot. I mentioned Dave Brubaker from my college, Dickinson College, and these are the guys that helped form me and taught me, and they were revelations in some of the things that they did. So yeah, those are the guys mean, I never met anybody, suddenly on the street. You have to be with them a while
Right.
to get their worth.
That's true. That's true. Now, since we're talking about inspiration and motivation, has there been a time in your life where you had some kind of obstacle that you really had to overcome that wasn't exactly the easiest thing to do?
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that throws up roadblocks in your life. When my father died, it was a killer. It was absolutely a killer. When I had a kidney stone and it had to be removed, that was a real bump in your life. Professionally, there was no great roadblocks. Things seemed to be okay. And my marriage is great, and but not a lot of horrible things to overcome. I'm luckier than most, and not as lucky as some, but it's fine. I mean, I'm happy to just be sitting here, talking and having enjoyed most of my life.
Any other parting words that you would like to say before we finish this?
Yes, you can send checks or money orders to me, care of Kyle. No, I just wish everybody, like everybody. It means nothing, but I just wish everybody stay safe. Make sense of what you're doing. Keep your mask on, get your vaccination, get your booster, and let's treat everybody you meet like they're fighting a fierce battle, so that you can be kind to people. And that's about it.
All right. And now, do you have a presence on social media?
I'm on Facebook, but I don't. My daughter-in-law got me on Instagram and Twitter. I don't use that stuff. I really don't. I mean, a lot of actors' friends use it as a publicity platform.
Yeah, of course.
I don't anymore. I mean, if things come up, I'll post some things, but no, to answer that question in a long way, not really any social media, Facebook.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame you. I mean, the only reason I have any social media at all is to promote the show for the most part. Somebody will say, did you see this on Facebook? Did you see it? No, I really didn't, because I get on there, do my posts, and if something happens to be in my feed that's from a friend of mine, I might, like it or comment. But for the most part, I don't spend a whole lot of time on there. And we had a Twitter account at one time, but people got so ugly on there. I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm done.
No, you don't need ugly.
No, I don't understand that. I mean, why do people have to be so mean? But
because it makes them feel good.
Yeah,
it makes them feel superior.
It's
insecurity, I think.
Well, you don't seem to be insecure, so.
No, I'm not insecure. And I never would be mean, you ugly son of a gun. No.
Well, I really appreciate your time, taking time out of your day. And it's been an honor. It really has.
Well, thank you. It's very sweet. Thank you very much.
And I look forward to anything you may have going on in the future if we ever get out of this mess.
If we ever get out of this mess, I'm hoping to do many things that we can come back and talk about.
Well, and by all means, if you have anything that you would like to promote, please reach back out to me. I would love to have you back on, and
thank you.
We could talk about whatever you want to.
Thanks, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle.
All right. Well, until the next one, everyone, thank you for joining us. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. I hope you come back. And for those that are regular, thank you for your support. It means everything in the world to me. And until the next one, everyone, please take care, be kind to one another. God bless, and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network